Friday, April 3rd, 2020. Lesson 10, Close Read, American Indians, otherwise known as First Nations, and the American Revolution. Learning target, I can determine the main idea and summarize the text, American Indians, First Nations, and the American Revolution. Answering these questions will help you identify the main idea. Reread paragraphs 1, 5, and 6. From these sections, what can you infer about the treatment of First Nations people after the Revolutionary War? So again, you will use the underlined parts of the sentence, the question, to help you state your sentence. I can infer that the treatment of First Nations people was blank after the Revolutionary War. Let's go get our details from paragraphs 1, 5, and 6, or sections 1, 5, and 6. The Declaration of Independence said that King George III set merciless Indian savages against innocent men, women, and children. The image of ferocious warriors propelled into action by a cruel king was what people believed about the Indians' role in the Revolution and justified the way they were treated after. But many nations tried to stay out of the war. Some sided with the colonists, and those who allied with the crown did so only to protect their homelands. The British government gave Iroquois land some protection with the Royal Proclamation of 1763. The Iroquois knew that the revolution was about their land as well as freedom. So, from right here, and justified the way they were treated after, this gives me a clue, but it doesn't give me the whole answer. So I'm going to go back down to paragraphs 5 and 6. Remember, when we're making an inference, we're using some evidence from the text and what we know as background knowledge. In 1783, Britain handed over land to the United States. The United States continued to take Indians' land by treaty and by force. So after the war, Native American land was taken by treaty and by force. Indians fought in the Revolution for Indian freedom and Indian homelands, not for Britain. But most Americans believe that Indians supported the king and his cruelty. They did not feel sorry about treating poorly those who fought against the birth of their nation. So we can infer, as a matter of fact, it's made quite evident, that indigenous people or First Nations people were treated poorly. And here's our evidence from the text to support that. So here we can write was poor, or you can choose another word to answer that question. And then you'll use details from the text to help support your answer. Likewise, reread paragraph 2. In your own words, what were Cherokee warriors frustrated by? And you can use these words. Cherokee warriors were frustrated by. Reread paragraph 5. What happened to the First Nations after the Revolutionary War? Again, we just reviewed paragraph 5, and you can use the words that are underlined. After the Revolutionary War, the First Nations were, and complete your answer.